Hey, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for joining today's Gate AMA session. And it's always great to have you all here, as always. And I hope I'm loud and clear to each and everyone listening right now. Today's hot topic. Just to remind you guys, it's a very hot topic. So today we're talking about something that sits right in the very middle of AI, Web3, and the future of blockchain. As you know, everyone know AI is growing constantly, and more people start using crypto and on-chain apps on daily basis. And one big question is always coming up, right? So how do we make Web3 more simple and easier for everyday users like us? Right. So currently, Web3 is still very complicated for most of the users. So people have to switch networks, use bridges, manage different wallets, and deal with different tokens just to do basic stuff, right? So that's why today's session is about ZetaChain. ZetaChain is building what they call a universal blockchain. So the idea is pretty much simple. Build once and launch everywhere. So this means users and developers can interact across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and many more without switching networks or using any type of bridges. So instead of thinking about which chain you're on, you just use the app and the system handles the rest in its background. So today's we're touching three different topics regarding ZetaChain. So why the universal blockchain idea matters, why better cross-chain user experience is important for real people, and of course how AI and smart agents could change how we use Web3 today. So before we jump into the core conversation and discussion, let's just quickly say hi to our guests. So let's start with ZetaChain team. Hey ZetaChain, how you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Jonathan
morning.
here. Thank you.
Pleasure to connect, Jonathan. Could you briefly introduce yourself, your role at ZetaChain, and of course share just one sentence on what ZetaChain means to you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is Jonathan Covey here, core contributor at ZetaChain. Thanks everyone for tuning in. So I started the community for ZetaChain 4 years ago, and I focus on all things marketing and ecosystem growth. ZetaChain to me means the universal layer for AI and Web3, and we'll get into it more. Very excited.
Perfect. Sounds great. Sounds great. We're eager to start this conversation. To be honest. So now let's bring in our KOL. Hey, Loco, how you doing, sir?
Hey guys, hey, hello to everyone. Nice to be here. Nice to be with this Denzo, with the great Gate and the Zeta Chain team. To all the listeners, I hope you're all excited because we're gonna deep dive into very great project in the market right now, and all of you should be hyped because we're gonna be very. It's gonna be very interesting topic to discuss.
Perfect. Sounds great. Sounds great. So let's jump into the core discussion, and prepare some great questions for Jonathan here. So first question is, so as we all know right now, one of the very hot topics is everyone's talking about AI, of course, Web3, of course, new blockchain ideas, right? So from your personal point of view, why is a universal blockchain the right direction right now, and what problem does it solve that today's blockchain still haven't fully fixed?
Sure. So there are tons of blockchains in the market now. You saw this in really the last cycle, like all these new L1s popping up, ZK technology, improvements in speed, all of these diverse properties and like new development languages and stuff. This is great because there's a lot of innovation and options in the market for devs and users, but it makes interoperating across all of them and accessing all of the users really difficult. So the original thesis of ZetaChain was to solve this fragmentation problem, and so we built a what we call universal blockchain. The idea is that users and apps shouldn't care about what chain they're on, like the how the modern internet works. And so the universal blockchain solves three big problems: interoperability and how tokens move across different chains without bridging or wrapping tokens. unified liquidity. So if you build an app, you out of the box have access to uh, liquidity on all of the major chains that ZetaChain supports, and then composability across all of these chains. So having a DEX that natively moves Bitcoin from Bitcoin network to ETH on Ethereum in a simple transaction and doing any sort of complex logic across different chains. So the original value prop was being an abstraction layer for crypto, and we've been building an ecosystem of different use cases for apps around that over the years. And then it turns out everybody's talking about AI and agents doing stuff for you, and they're increasingly interacting with crypto and settling payments on chain. So ZetaChain is positioned to capture a lot of the AI activity, and we're building all sorts of new infrastructure to support AI agents and interacting with models as well.
That sounds great. To be precise here, I'm extra bullish for this one. My next question is is about for daily users, for people that are actually using crypto and using Web3 on daily basis. They have to switch networks, they have to use bridges, they have to manage multiple and various of wallets, and it's quite confusing, right? So most of the people just don't want to enter crypto just because of this issue. This is the main issue here. So do you think removing those steps is like very necessary for mass adoption? And what real user problem was that a chain built to solve in the first place?
Yeah, I think like the UX of things everybody talks about, this is definitely a key component to growing adoption in the space. And um, it's just simply difficult to get, family and friends to get a MetaMask wallet and or
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, a lot of chains require you to download entirely new wallets and stuff. So very similar to like fragmentation of blockchain, there are also all of these different wallets and token versions. It's complicated, but I think we've come a long way solving um, like different disparate bridges and chain switching and stuff. There are different approaches. So we solve this with the concept of a universal app. So you build one app and smart contract. It lives on ZetaChain EVM. It's just like building on Ethereum, and that app can natively be accessed from users on Solana in their Phantom wallet, EVM wallets on Ethereum, and the L2s, even like Unisat and different popular Bitcoin wallets on the Bitcoin network. So we're meeting users where they are. And as a developer, you don't have to figure out all the unique requirements of something like Cosmos Chain or build in Rust and all of these different languages, move on SUI. So uh, yeah, a universal app you build once, you deploy everywhere, and we're extending that same um, uh, functionality to AI models. Um, so, yeah, the goal is for crypto to feel like a single app experience, and then ZetaChain handles the complex machinery and cross-chain stuff under the hood. But yeah, bridging and switching networks, like I think we've collectively solved that in the space, and things are feeling more like modern consumer software, although there's still a lot of work to be done.
That actually makes a lot of sense, and that would actually fix a lot of problems that we have in Web3 for people that don't want to enter in, that people that don't want to figure out what wallet does what which chain does what. So that's very bullish, to be honest, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. And my next question is, uh, If someone has never used DeFi before, before trying ZetaChain for the first time, so what do you think would feel most different compared to using other Web3 apps today?
Yeah, the biggest difference is fewer steps because ZetaChain can act on other blockchains, and you can initiate like a swap or deposit uh, stables on Ethereum into a vault on Base or Solana all in one step. Um, so like fewer steps, fewer switch to this chain interruptions, for all of these use cases. I mentioned a cross-chain DEX example before, but um, stake on chain A, withdraw into chain B, swap for this token into stables, then send back to my wallet on ZetaChain. Like all of these automations become possible. And that's why, again, I'm excited about all the AI agent stuff because um, blockchain is effectively like the global settlement layer and rails for all of this AI work to be paid out. And AI needs interoperability as well. If you look at OpenAI and Google's models and private and open source models, um, there's a fragmentation of information and access there as well. Um, so, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you very much for it for your answer. And I totally agree here. Talking about the AI stuff, to be brutally honest here, AI is taking over Web3 as a whole, right? So before it was only Web2 and Web2 stuff only, right? So now for Web3, it plays a major role. And just talking about the AI here for a moment. So, I totally agree. AI is changing everything in tech right now, absolutely, and mostly in Web3. So, and you mentioned AI agents as well. So ZetaChain, has talked about supporting AI agents that can work across many blockchains. That's correct, right? So, from a normal user's point of view and perspective, what's the new things would make this possible? What new things would make this possible?
Yeah, and I'll harp on your point about AI agents overshadowing crypto. I mean, ultimately, these two things converge and they're really complementary. But um, like I was just reading a Delphi Digital short blog post yesterday, and look, the fact like a big part of crypto is the casino and gambling and speculative asset. And what the blog post says is that for a while, um, crypto was like one of the only games in town where anyone in the world with an internet connection could speculate on meme coins and stuff. But what we've seen with the tech stocks and everything fixated around AI is that that's pulled some of the liquidity away. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I think um, uh, digital assets are super important, Bitcoin for sure. And all of this stuff will converge with blockchain. Um, and sorry, your question one more time.
So the question was is for normal users, right? From normal users' point of view, what new things would make this possible? Like the whole idea about AI agents that can work across many blockchains.
Yeah. So yesterday we made a big announcement, ZetaChain 2.0, and essentially what we've built, the universal blockchain, we're extending that to AI models. And so the idea is that as a developer, you build apps and agents, and not only should they interoperate with Solana and Ethereum and Bitcoin and all the Web3 ecosystems, but also execute across the AI models and providers. And we're also focused on uh, like a memory aspect and keeping things private and portable. So all of the um, context that you build, your preferences, your conversation history with AI. we're building a new layer where all of that is in one place and it's private. The big models can't see it and train off of your data. So this opens up a whole new realm for ZetaChain to let users interact with all the AI stuff out there.
Understood, guys. This is extra bullish personally for me. I would really love what you guys are doing, and you also mentioned the Bitcoin, and as we all know, Bitcoin is the hottest topic. 24/7 every day. So there's a lot of talk about Bitcoin's future at the moment in the community, and like, just a personal question from my end to you guys and to you, Jonathan. So do you see Bitcoin actually staying mostly as a digital gold or becoming something people actually use in Web3 apps? And if Bitcoin-based DeFi really grows, what role do you see ZetaChain playing in that world?
Yeah, I think that's a huge question, and I see it more as digital
Mhm.
gold, although it's lagging behind the actual gold and the precious metals. Um, yeah, Bitcoin, I don't think was ever meant to be uh, a currency that you buy your groceries with and stuff. So I think it will remain more of a custody asset, and people in the US here are allocating to it in their IRA, like their retirement accounts. Um, there is a huge opportunity. This is our still our thesis that you can use Bitcoin as productive collateral in DeFi, and AI agents will work with Bitcoin and do stuff like lending and borrowing, and ZetaChain makes all of that possible. Like you build an app in DeFi and it can natively accept Bitcoin and do things like lending and borrowing, because um, the beauty of Bitcoin is you can just send, receive, and buy it. It's simple, proof of work. But the reality still is like 99% of Bitcoin in DeFi is wrapped Bitcoin. So the apps on ZetaChain are exploring this, and you can swap native Bitcoin for ETH on Ethereum and other DeFi assets without using um, uh, like a centralized solution. But I think at the end of the day, Bitcoin is kind of like digital gold.
Got it. Got it. Thanks for your reply. That's a great one. And you also mentioned about the Zeta Chain 2.0. Of course, we did our own research. We're at Gates, so just wanna and I know you already mentioned the Zeta Chain 2.0, and you spoke about it a little bit, but just want to dive a little bit deeper into the topic. So, what's the key idea behind like Zeta Chain 2.0, and why does it actually matter now?
Yeah, very simply, we are extending interoperability from blockchains to AI models. So, uh, whether you build a DApp or just like a normal app, all of this stuff is integrated. So you get access to all the major AI models and can execute inferences across them, and then interact and settle and like have built-in monetization tools across all the blockchains that we integrate. And then there's a memory layer. So all of your interactions with um, all the AIs, you have one memory that you own, just like Bitcoin in your wallet. ZetaChain secures your AI context, everything about you privately, and you own that. Um, so this is pretty huge because everybody's spending their time on AI. It's like the primary interface for work. Um, and we're giving all of our data away to these siloed platforms, and they're profiting off you. And so this is very in line with the original thesis of Web3 and blockchain, which is that you own your own data. And we're doing that for all your AI context as well.
That's a great answer, actually, guys. You heard everything from the man himself, Jonathan. This is amazing, and we all wish you all the greatest with ZetaChain 2.0, and we're all looking forward to this one. And thank you very much, Jonathan. Just please stay in here. We haven't done yet, and right now we are transferring to our KOL, to Mr. Loco. Loco, how you doing, sir? Are you still here? Are you bullish?
I'm extra bullish, Danzo. This is so fire space, and Jonathan is just flaming the stage. It's amazing to
Absolutely.
hear about this amazing project, amazing team that working on it. I'm extra excited.
Perfect. That sounds great. That's what I love to hear, actually. So, Loco, question to you. So, when you first heard about Zeta Chain, and what was the one thing that made you want to learn more?
Dazo, like what hooked me about Zeta Change, it very simple. Like it's not another bridge because Zeta Chain lets smart contracts interact with native assets across the chains, like even Bitcoin, which is wrapping. And that's rare in the market. Most projects just move tokens, but Zeta Chains actually move the logic of this. When I saw that, I knew this was a real infrastructure, not just a narrative that everyone talks about, but this is a real movement in the whole space.
Absolutely. I was actually doing my own research the other day, and I was amazed that such project actually exists. And this is actually extra bullish to me, guys. And everyone should hop in and learn more, and do their own research as well on this one. So that the chain, long live Zeta Chain, absolutely. And another question from my end to you, Loco, is there are many Web3 projects today as a whole, as you know, as you of course you're aware, but very few are used to everyday people. So because we know users always jump from one app to another app to another app to another app, and it goes so on and so on and so on. So in your view, what's the biggest reason? What is the biggest reason adoption has been so slow? Why is that happening?
Man, too much friction is going on in the market. Like users don't want to think about chains, bridges, or gas tokens. They just want to swipe their tokens or send to someone. But like one action today feels like five steps. But Web3 needs to feel like Web2. I mean, it sounds funny, but like it needs to be fast, invincible, and secure. Until infrastructure disappears in the background, like mass adoption won't happen because it's a lot of too much actions need to be done just to move tokens from your wallet to another wallet. But Zeta Change like solve this problem. That's why this is a bullish project in the market.
Absolutely, ZetaChain actually makes it feel much smoother, much easier. No more pain in the head, everything is smooth. So yeah, absolutely, 100%, totally agree with you here, sir. And of course, another question from my end is, looking at AI, Bitcoin, and cross-chain tech. So, which one do you think will be used by a lot of people first?
I mean, you guys spoke about AI and Bitcoin. You covered most of it. Jonathan gave amazing speech about Bitcoin, which I really liked it. But AI wins fast because it's really easy to the user, and Bitcoin is a win in the long term. But the cross chain wins quietly, and that's the biggest one. It's nobody feels it how powerful it is. But when users stop asking like what chain is this on, do you use this chain, can I send to this chain, and everything just works. Like when you just send it, and that's all has to be done. That's when the cross chain infrastructure has won. Like when there's no more extra steps, no more asking like which chain, and etc.
Perfect. Yeah, and, absolutely. The ZetaChain actually provides all those stuff for you guys to make it more easier and smooth, of course, as I mentioned previously. And this last question from my end, that's my personal one. From your personal standpoint, so what is the biggest reason to pay attention to ZetaChain right now? Why it's hot?
I mean, you guys need to, like, you have to pay attention to Zeta Change, because the biggest reason to pay attention to Zeta Change right now is timing. Like, we're entering the phase where builders like care less about the isolated ecosystem, and when the DeFi apps like go wild, and more about compatibility than across the change, basically. Like, application wants users from everywhere, not just one chain. But a strong example in payment, like merchants or like anybody care whether a user pays with Bitcoin, Ethereum, or another assets. When omni-chain like ZetaChain, that logic can be handled in the background. Like another example, DeFi strategies that span multiple chains yields on one chain, collateral like in another state, like on the stable coins like Bitcoin and etc. Like ZetaChain isn't trying to replace existing blockchains; it's trying to act as a coordinator layer between the them. Like you can work with all of the chains, like all of the layers in the market with just ZetaChain, which is amazing and mind blowing. Uh, you have to pay attention to ZetaChain, guys. Like there's no other way. It's the future basically in the market.
Absolutely, 100% agreed here. Uh, Jonathan and Loco, thank you very much. Jonathan, do you have anything to add here to our community?
I got to bring you guys on as contributors. The one thing to add, there's the first app showcase for all of this AI stuff, the interoperability, unified memory, and privacy is an app called Enuma AI. There's a new X handle for it, and you can join the waitlist and earn AI credits, which will convert to real compute and utility when the app is publicly launched. So sign up for the waitlist for enuma.ai.
Perfect. We'll surely consider that, and we'll surely join the waitlist for sure. At least me and Loco for 100%. And more than sure, our community is also bullish on this one. Uh, so, guys, thank you very much, Jonathan. Thank you very much, Loco, for your time, for your precious time. And it was a great conversation. It was a great discussion. And I believe our community and listeners of this AMA session actually learned more about how they can simplify their journey in Web3, and that's amazing. So just to close everything up, just to wrap things up. So thank you everyone for joining today's AMA session. And today's discussion showed why the idea of universal blockchain is becoming more and more important, and ZetaChain is working toward a future where users don't need to think about chains, bridges, or networks at all. All in one app. You just use the app. Everything else happens in the background. Those guys are biggest professionals. Those guys can change the world, can reshape and change the way we think about Web3. It's no more complications. It's no more pain in the ass. It's everything is just perfectly legit and perfectly easy for any type of user to join in and begin their journey. That kind of simple experience is what Web3 actually needs, and if that's what people actually need on their everyday use of Web3. So if you'd like to learn more about ZetaChain, make sure to check out their official channels and ecosystem projects, of course. And thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one on Gate Space. And it's been your host, Dance. And of course, one last disclaimer before we all go. So the content shared today is not for informational purposes, is for informational purposes only, and is not an investment advice. Please make your own decisions and get professional advice if needed. Gate may restrict access to its services in some regions. For more information, please read Gate's user agreement. Thank you very much, guys, and take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having great
Thank
space
you.
today.
Cheers.
Bye bye.